Your mic, Habibi. Unmute. I can't access mic. Oh, there. No. He left again. Is he back? Apologize, brothers and sisters, for this. We're living in a modern era of great technology. Innovation will fail you, whether in the religion or in the worldly matters. Sheesh. And I'm still talking to myself. I am yet to see Khidr. Khidr, come on, bro. Yo. Okay, well, I'll just move on my own until our brother is able to join us again, which is all good, no issues. Type. So back to the discussion. I was saying, so this particular speaker, Yasir Qadi, is so sensitive and so considerate about the Sufis' feelings as not to hurt them. He says that I don't want to call it dancing because we shouldn't mock others. And the same breath and the same video, when it comes to Salafiyya, he has the sharpest tongue and the most insulting that I've come across, but it's just a more educated and academic. So instead of calling someone a noob, you call him a neophyte. Instead of calling him a kid, you call him an adolescent. You see, it's actually a nasty trash talking methodology, just done more academically than the average guy down the street. But those standards of consideration and care and love are not shown to the people upon Salafiyya, because these are the ones who will call him out and expose him. But they're shown greatly to grave worshippers, Barelvis, anyone out there. And you listen to his talks, he's so careful as to not to hurt people's feelings, being very particular about his words, like people that venerate the graves more than you're supposed to, who go that extra mile. Basically saying some of it is okay, but don't go to extremes. But when it comes to the Salafiyya, then the Salafiyya becomes this disease that needs to be called out and criticized and exposed. And so our brothers and sisters in faith are victims to this kind of rhetoric that they have to hear from these individuals. And this is the fundamental reason behind many of the issues that we have today. The fundamental reason is that the reason why people are taking these matters lightly is because they're being told that they are light matters. That's why you have other individuals, for example, who will make a post about be respectful of others, whether you're celebrating Christmas or not, be respectful of others, and hashtag happy holidays. Then when you say, hey, bro, like happy holidays is like, if you Google it, it's actually an endorsement. And it's a form of congratulating Christians on their festivities. It's used specifically actually for that. And then it could be used more generically for other people. You'll say, no, I meant by happy holiday, I'm on holiday. Okay. I'm on holiday. I'm out with my family, having a good time outside. So because I'm having a holiday, that's what I meant by happy holidays. What is wrong with you evil people with your little minds and evil intentions? Where's Husn al-Dhan? You're supposed to have Husn al-Dhan, ya Khidr. Oh, you're back. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. You know how to use your phone. You're supposed to have Husn al-Dhan, ya Khidr. If I just on a Christmas day or around that time, I make a post and I put a hashtag of happy holidays, you were supposed to understand that I meant I'm out from work, I'm on vacation. You were supposed to assume that. But because of your sick mind and because of our sick mind, we don't. So this is what's being put out there for the people. And they're going to misunderstand. But I will have some advice to my brothers and sisters. Hopefully they will take it with an open heart, inshallah, when we reach that stage. So are you there? Are you audible? Let me hear you.
I am back, I think. Can you hear me?
MashaAllah, tabarakallah.
Yeah, something wrong with Zoom, you know. I'm gonna go back to Zoom or Chrome because something to do with permissions. Allah, I don't know what's going
No
on. But
problem,
anyway,
sir.
where are
No
we?
problem.
What's why are we dissing those with what's going on?
No, I was continuing the talk about, the attack on Salafiyya, because maybe some Salafis have done some damage. Even the name Salafi is a problematic term nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a praiseworthy, uh, virtuous term, but
Yeah,
it has been used to actually sec- further divide Muslims and create
yeah,
more
yeah,
cultish behavior, more
yeah,
sectarianism, which I understand. And
yeah.
because of that, the backlash of this approach, or this extremism that they
I'm here. I'm here. Still here. Just
yeah
fixing my camera.
the extremism that they displayed has led many people, just as soon as they hear Salafi or Salafiyah, they want to close their ears, and they lose interest in hearing us out. But honestly, nobody's going to give it to you raw and free of add-ons, and free of extensions, and free of compromises, and free of sugarcoating and beating around the bush, like a person upon Salafiyah. Wallahi, he will give it to you يعني in the most straightforward way you could ever imagine. And honestly, يعني nothing else will be good for you in this
Yeah.
dunya, and when you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is your way out for salvation. Now,
So is there a way to rectify this? You know, can you? The thing is, at the end of the day,
you're I can barely hear you, bro.
yeah, how do you rectify this? How do you like not convince the masses in a sense, but like how do you make to give basically how do you give a good image to Salafiyah again and da'wah? Or is it just do you think you're gonna be a permanent stain to those people who just don't want to listen?
No, I mean, look, there's a lot of people that find the truth. I see this from the comments and the feedback from the people who had been lost at some point listening to different people. Then when they came across the da'wah, it touched their heart, and it was received well, and they've made changes. So of course, it's an obligation on us to make extra effort to improve on the quality of the work that we do, to try to be more accommodating in the areas where we can be more accommodating. But
Yeah,
the issue that we have is that we have been brainwashed and programmed to think that anytime you speak or you say something against someone else, you're automatically a person with issues. And some people have just will shut down immediately. And that's an issue that they need to understand from an Islamic perspective, that this is founded in Islam, and this is a requirement of the religion. It is not a personal beef that anyone has. But
yeah,
either way, to answer the question, yes, we have an obligation to continue to promote the Dawah Salafiyah in the best way possible. I will say, for example, the quality of work that is presented by someone like Sheikh Abdurrahman Hassan is unprecedented. And it's really quality work with adab and manners, and how a talib ilm would behave without all the compromises. So this is what needs to be put forward. But you will see that such individuals will have a lot less followers, a lot less people that take knowledge from them, versus the public celebrity speakers who have a much bigger platform. Unfortunately, they're using it for they're misusing it. I would just, the least I could say is they're misusing it and harming the Muslims, maybe with an intention to do good.
and you've mentioned this many times in the past. Just a side topic, but it's relevant. Yani, just get this out of the way. Refutations are part of Islam, right?
Of
Because
course.
now we go into people like, why are you backbiting? These people have learned, you know, they learned at Azhar, they learned Medina, they have certification from all this, they learned at Yale. So they understand modern people, they understand the modern times, they understand the life of the Kafir and the Muslim. So who are you to speak? Well, this is some of the things that they say.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean people are going to say that, but look, if you observe the way of the Prophet ﷺ himself, um, in certain contexts mentioning people by name when he was when sought his advice was sought regarding marriage. So about this particular by name, he mentioned people. Dhul Khuwaisira, the head of Khawarij, and in the presence of people, right there, Prophet ﷺ calling him out, even when he walked away, and they wanted to, they harm him, the Sahaba wanted to harm him. He said, "No, leave him. They will come from his loins. People that will, read the Quran. They will not go past their collarbones." All of these are examples of when it came to the issue of protecting the religion, then technically no one's honor is more important than the well-being of the religious texts. That's all. We're not taking away from the honor of a Muslim. We are for the honor of the Muslim. Every Muslim deserves to be honored. But if that person is going to become an obstacle between the average Muslim, the layman, and the textual evidence, if they're going to obstruct the path, if they're going to obstruct the understanding, if they're going to interfere and try to give you a twisted approach to things that is not in line with the scholars, like the real scholars, not in line with our righteous predecessors, then by all means, no matter how important you are as a person, you will have to be called out. And we do this, Ya Khidr, in everything else in the world. You do this in a business environment. If there's an employee that is causing corruption in the company, that is stealing money, or that will do something that will harm the team, let's say a team member of yours is going to do something that will get the whole team fired, you're not going to be quiet. Your department is going to be affected. You're going to escalate this to HR. You do this in your neighborhood. If you know one of the neighbors is doing drug dealing, and when he deals drugs, it's going to bring in the type of people that are drug addicts who could commit crime, who could rob your house the next day. You're not going to sit there and say, wallah, the honor of this person is more important than the overall well-being of the neighborhood. You will definitely take action. So why is it when it comes to religion, which is actually more important than all of these things, why y'all tripping? Why y'all tripping? It's not like I'm protecting myself. I get attacked all the time. I mean, I have this individual, I don't even want to mention his name because it's so hilarious. He keeps making fun of me. He calls me a bald, ugly, bald gremlin or something like that. And I'm thinking, okay, akhi, no problem. You may disagree with me because I attacked you supposedly I spoke ill about your African American shuyukh. But akhi, what does that have to do with my looks? Because if I were to speak about your looks, I could, and with my tongue, I can go on for ages, but that's not the point of contention. The point of contention is that we don't see eye to eye from a religious point of view. I'm not going to criticize your appearance now, in spite of how horrible it is, because that is not the point. So you see, this is the issue. The issue is that we're not protecting, I'm not defending Wajdi Akkari, or I'm defending, and I have to defend just like you have to defend. Because they say, who told you to defend? No, Islam doesn't need you to defend it. Well, Islam is not a human being walking around with muscles that doesn't need to be defended. Yes, the religion has to be defended by its people. The religion, who carries the religion? It's an entity that is actually manifests in humans. And if the Islam is not protected from interference, from deletions, from additions, from innovations, then of course the religious teachings will be lost in the process. And that's why Allah Azza wa Jal legislated certain criteria, certain principles via which Islam is preserved until Yawm al-Qiyamah. The Quran is preserved. The teachings of the Prophet ﷺ are preserved. There's a lot of responsibility that is on our shoulders. So we have to make these things clear. We have to defend the religion, because if anyone is becoming an obstacle, then with all due respect, we cannot allow you, no matter who you are, to interfere in the religion of Allah. We're not saying that our opinion is the only opinion, Ya Khidr, because we understand there's a surplus sometimes of opinions on any subject matter within Orthodox Sunni belief, but it's really about the opinions that will compromise greater matters, meaning the opinion itself, the fiqh opinion, may be something that is small, but it will open the door for a lot of aqidah related compromises. And a lot of those Western speakers, they are only focused on pleasing the crowd at the moment. So they will issue a fatwa or give opinions which will cater for the people in the West, to kind of get them out of trouble or to be more compatible with the society. But in the long run, they're actually harming the Muslims and the children of these people in being able to truly coexist without having to basically give up their religion altogether. Because if you continue to go on that path, you will be left with nothing. And as I will discuss when it comes to the issue of celebrations and greetings and so on and so forth.
So is there any foundation towards unity? You know, some people, they claim that right now we are facing such a difficult time with the Muslim Ummah. Everyone is against us. You know, we have the, yeah, everyone is against us, as the hadith. But now, so should we
Your
unite
voice
in
is
this
far, by
tough
the way,
times?
Khidr. If you could just
No,
raise your voice or get closer to the mic, please, just for
sure,
the
sure,
people
sure.
later. Yeah, much better.
Yeah,
Jazakallah khair.
yeah. So I'm just wondering, we are facing such tough times. Everyone
Yeah.
is against us as Muslims, yani. So should we unite in this, yeah, in this era where it doesn't matter who you are, as long as you're Muslim, we should unite because everyone is against us.
Okay. Let's hypothetically say that we unite. Okay.
Yeah.
What is that unity going to bring?
Mm.
Like that, let's be practical. Let's say hypothetically, which is impossible, that we unite. And you know what's strange is that the unity that they're calling for is not something that like the people upon the way of the Salaf have an issue with. It's actually other groups and denominations themselves that hate the way of the Salaf so much that they refuse to unite. So it's not like we've had this option all the time to unite, but we're like, nah, we're not gonna unite with the people of innovation. It's actually the people of innovation that also don't want to unite with us. You
Yeah.
understand? They see us as deviant, just like we see them as deviant. So
Yeah.
what unity? That unity is not gonna happen. And as they say, let's say that we united, then we will soon differ.
Yeah.
We will soon differ because that unity is a superficial one. It's
Yeah.
it's not founded upon the principles that brought about the unity back then. And mind you, it wasn't long after the departure and the death of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the differing started to appear among the early generations. You understand? It's this is the decree of Allah for this ummah. It is decreed for this ummah that we will be differing with one another, that we will be divided into 73 sects. So it's actually going against what is inevitable. So if this is the case, what should be your focus? Okay, you have two options. Option number one, I'm going to work for unity. Working for unity is a mission impossible because we will not unite. The hadith says that this ummah will divide into 73 sects, all of which will be entering the fire except one. And it's already spoke about al-Ta'if al-Mansura wal-Firqa al-Najiyah. The Islam and the Quran and Sunnah already stipulated that there will be only one group. It's not going to be everybody. So now that you cannot achieve the first objective, the second objective would be that you want to be part of that group. You want to
Yeah.
be part of those people that have not been warned against, that have not have been criticized for leaving and straying away from orthodox Sunnism, which is the way that Prophet ﷺ left for the Sahaba and the Tabi'een and the Tabi'een. That should be my goal and your goal, every Muslim out there. It is not that you please anybody else or that you are on good terms with the Jews, on good terms with the
Mm.
Christians, on good terms with the Hindus. That is not your objective. Your objective is salvation. What is going to save me on Yawm al-Qiyamah? Even if people in my area and my neighborhood and my culture and my society are not in line with this way, I want to be saved. It's a really personal salvation mission that everyone listening to me should be focused on. Because as soon as you go out there to the world, there's so much pressure, ya Khidr. Especially brothers living in the UK, living in the US, living in Canada, living in different European countries, and nowadays even in the Gulf countries. And the pressure now is on all of us. This pressure is a global pressure. So either you going to succumb to the pressure, so you could be, so you can conform to the global movement, or you're going to hold on to your religious teachings quite uh, aggressively, I would say, because you want your own salvation, in spite of the public speakers that are telling you you need to chill and take it easy. But if that opinion is erroneous, and it is, then there's not much chilling that you're going to do right now. You will chill once you put both feet in paradise. Until then, you have to struggle until you save yourself and your family and those whom you love.
Khair, inshallah ta'ala. So
So
it's
let's go to
clear
the
with
questions.
regards.
Yeah.
Now, let's move on into the topic at hand, which is about celebrations. Because now it's the perfect time. Christmas is apparently today,
Is
and New
it?
Year's is coming. It's
Oh,
25th, right?
how cute.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just trying to support the Western brothers, brothers and sisters in the Western countries. Yeah, like they need support at this time. How can we
Yes, they do.
support them? How can we support them,
Look,
guys?
look.
Just hold on, yeah. Everything around you is
Wallahi,
Christmas
yes.
theme. You can't
Sah,
escape it.
sah. Look, it is tough. It is tough. You go out there, there's, Christmas decorations and lights, and yani, it's such a global business, that
Pandemic.
is in your face. Really, it's such a terrible way to use religion and religious symbols for maximizing one's profit. It's really, يعني, wow, that's all I could say. Consumerism at its best. And so, please first understand that this ideology, whether what regardless of whether you want to go back to the roots or the way it manifests today because of the world we're living in, the crux of the matter is, what is really Christmas? If somebody were to ask, like, Christmas, right? What is Christmas? Christmas, according to some of the definitions, is an annual festival. This is from Wikipedia, I think. Christmas, or the Feast of Nativity, is an annual festival commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ, observed primarily on December 25th as a religious and cultural celebration among billions of people around the world. So, the first and the most important aspect of this is the religion. This celebration is of religious nature, in spite of the people trying to secularize it so that it is a secular type of celebration. It remains to be in its core a religious one. And the idea that, for example, Yasir Qadi gives the people that in 50 years maybe Christmas will no longer be even about Jesus or the birth of Jesus. It will just be like purely a secular uh, celebration, therefore rendering it halal, is one of the most ludicrous things you will hear from a person who studied Islam. But as we know that Yasir Qadi has given himself the position of a mujtahid. If you listen to his talk on this particular subject, it's all his own ijtihad about what is okay and what is not okay, and how he views certain things, to the point that even when Ibn Taymiyyah is mentioned, Ibn Taymiyyah is mentioned as just like this other guy who had an opinion but didn't get it right. Ibn Qayyim kind of is a little extreme. Imam Ahmad is known to be strict. Certain words are used to highlight uh, the belittlement of the seniority of the previous scholars. And of course, modern day scholars don't even go there. Those people are completely clueless, who have no idea what's going on. But this idea that you want to extract or make a distinction between the root, the asl, the origin of a festivity, and then its current affair, and claiming because of its current affair it's no longer problematic, is absolutely baseless. Because what matters in these issues is the origin. And I've given a lecture about this, very, very detailed, titled "Can I Celebrate This?" and another one titled "The Hole of a Lizard," where we explain, based on textual evidence from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that when a Sahabi had he wanted to offer, as he had vowed to offer and sacrifice in a particular occasion, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam specifically asked him whether there was any ritual, anything related to idolatry involved. in this. And when he got the green light from the Sahabi that no, there's no such connection, he said, then therefore go and fulfill your vow. Clearly explaining to the people that if there was another issue, if there is a connection, the origin of that event is of religious nature, then it will forever remain to be something that is foreign to Islam. And so Christmas is the idea that God son was born on the 25th of December, which cannot even be proved from a historical point of view. Anybody who does a small research online can easily find out that December 25th and all this has to do with the Roman Empire and the worship of the sun and choosing a convenient day to bring people into Christianity and so on and so forth. So many different things are involved. Surely Jesus wasn't born on 25th of December. And if people are celebrating the birth of the Son of God, then you as a Muslim should be greatly offended by this, because Allah Azza wa Jal is offended by this. And Allah Azza wa Jal is so offended by this that you will find so many occasions in the Quran, perhaps some of the strongest language used in the Quran was in the context of people claiming that Allah has begotten a son. وَقَالُوا اتَّخَذَ الرَّحْمَنُ وَلَدًا لَقَدْ جِئْتُمْ شَيْئًا إِدًّا تكاد السماوات يتفطرن منه وتنشق الأرض وتخر الجبال هدا أن دعوا للرحمن ولدا. And they say that the most merciful has begotten a son. You have said something outrageous, so outrageous that the earth, the heavens are about to split asunder, and the earth is about to rip open, and the mountains are about to fall in ruin, that they have attributed the son to the most merciful. وَمَا يَنْبَغِي لِلرَّحْمَنِ أَن يَتَّخِذَ وَلَدًا. And it is not befitting for the most merciful to beget a son. So if you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my brothers and sisters, my new revert Muslims, especially the reverts, if you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you've accepted Islam, then nothing should be more important to you than Allah. And if you're offended by people cursing and using foul language against your mom and dad, then you should be more concerned when people curse your creator and they attribute a son to him when he's free of that. And Christmas is the celebration of that. Whether people still adhere to the principles of it or the roots of it, or they made it a business, irrespective, that's what it's about. That is what it's about. That's what the name Christ Mass means. And therefore, you as a Muslim cannot possibly be involved in these festivities. You cannot congratulate them on that, because as Ibn Qayyim said, that congratulating them on that is like congratulating them on drinking wine or committing fornication or even killing someone. It's a greater crime in that sense. And I've made a video in the past where I missed the word congratulating, and I stand corrected right now. I'll fix it at this moment when I quoted Ibn Qayyim. But by principle, it's actually the same thing. We still believe that shirk is a greater crime than murder, than fornication, than drinking alcohol. Shirk remains to be the greatest. And your endorsement of that event, you saying Merry Christmas or even Happy Holidays, is basically saying, go ahead, I hope you enjoy what you're doing. But what they're doing is they're disbelieving in Allah. And they're cursing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you're just standing there. It's like you see someone stealing a car, and you say, I wish you success. May you be granted success. Like in this context, he's stealing a car. You're endorsing the theft of the car, because that's not the occasion for you to be saying, I wish you success. You understand? And similarly, you want to wish non-Muslims all good. Yes, we do. You want to give them da'wah. Yes, we do. You want them to go to paradise. Yes, we do. You want goodness for them in this dunya and the akhirah. Wallahi, absolutely. But I'm not going to use this time to show that, because at that time, that's an approval of what they're saying and what they're doing. And you have to select who, and we have, of course, many evidences from the Quran and the Sunnah, which I've explained in the lecture. Can I celebrate this? You can refer to it. We'll post it in the description, inshallah.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
In regards to, because you mentioned about, it doesn't matter if it's 50 years, the actual idea of it is gone, the shirky origins of it. That's what matters, right? So I've been asked this question: how about with the things that we have today, which are integrated with shirky origins? For example, like the days of the week, some of the things that we use, like Nike, Bluetooth logo, all it's all shirky origins. So how do we, as a Muslim, how do you differentiate? Okay, you know what, this no, we can't use that because this is, different, and this is, how does a Muslim, an average Muslim, differentiate? Okay, you know what, Christmas you can't do that, but Nike, yeah, you can use it,
Well,
or Bluetooth, no problem.
yeah, it's very simple. First of all, I don't know what's up with Bluetooth, man. But
The
I'll hear
logo
from you.
itself, the logo itself is it's an origin from a shirki origin, basically.
Really? Wow,
Yeah,
you,
and also a
mashallah.
lot of the cars that we have nowadays,
Like,
like Subaru and stuff like that. Anyway,
so let's make it very simple, Habibi. When
yeah,
we say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we all know that these days are associated with names of different gods and so on and so forth. Um, the question that we have to that person who asked you that question is, are you by any way celebrating or commemorating the that god of Sunday or Monday on that day? Are you doing anything of this activity of that sort? No, you're not. So let's say hypothetically that, let's say, a bunch of sun worshippers started to make a big deal of Sunday. Okay, they wanted to actually use Sunday to have a festivity. In that case, if you say to them happy Sunday, it becomes a problem. But right now, when we use the days of the week or the names of the months, or let's say Nike is controversial because some are for it, some are against it. But let's say even Nike, you are not really commemorating or participating in any kind of festivity or any kind of event related to that subject matter. Whereas we are saying, we're not saying you say that there's no Christmas. You're not allowed to say the word Christmas. We're saying Christmas just like we say Sunday, Monday. What we're saying is on that day, you may not partake in those events because those events are of religious nature and they're kufr nature. And Allah says, وَلَا يَشْهَدُونَ الزُّورِ. And those, Allah described Ibadur Rahman, He said they do not observe false events. And the Sahaba and those tabi'in and the mufassirin explained this, لا يشهدون الزور, meaning they don't attend the festivities of the disbelievers. So we have a clear ayah from the Quran that is warning you against being present and partaking in events of this nature. That's all we're saying. Just don't let them be, but you cannot be involved in this by any type of congratulating. Similarly, if you're going to start congratulating people or participating with them on any type of weekly celebration because of some other deity or Nike or whatever, Subaru or Bluetooth, then we will have the same answer. Then you will have an issue with those things as well. But the world we're living in clearly proves that Sunday is not like the 25th of December. Sunday and Christmas are not synonymous, not linguistically, not festivity wise, not behavior wise, not nothing. They have absolutely nothing to do with each other. So and that's common sense. I mean, I believe that's common sense.
So with regards to Christmas, Christmas stuff, Christmas theme, like we mentioned, like especially in the Western countries, almost everywhere you go, like a month before Christmas happens, everything is Christmas theme. You know, how do you advise the parents who that children sees this? Like the festivities, the lights, and decorations, everything just points to it being a joyful season. So how do parents, how can you advise them basically to gear their children away from being attracted to these things?
It's a good question, and it's a valid concern. Look, man, the way I see it is, the more tawheed is instilled in your children, the more repelled they will be by those events themselves. That's really what it boils down to. When I educate my children that don't be fooled by the deceptive nature of the appearance of things, don't be fooled by the lighting and by the tree and by Santa Claus, all of which are not even related to Christianity. Ironically, all of these elements of Christmas are also foreign they're foreign to the teachings of Christianity itself. So it's obviously a satanic uh, plan. Seriously, it's a satanic plan to deceive mankind, just like he deceived the people of Nuh by telling them that they should make idols and statues in the shape and the appearance of those righteous people that died, so they can remember them to worship Allah. That is the ultimate objective of Satan, and that is a successful Satan approach to things. And it's very clear that this whole agenda, this whole gimmick of Christmas, with all its elements, a lot of which are not even related to Christianity or Jesus Christ in any way, shape, or form, is a manifestation of the satanic, messing around, the satanic plan and plot to deceive people. And all of these are contrary to your relationship with Allah. And this worldly life is not about having fun on the expense of displeasing Allah. So what we should do is we should make a big deal out of our Eid. Not to the point that we compete with them, because that's not the point. But we should exercise all of the elements of our Eid that will allow our children to enjoy Eid. And we have 2 Eids, by the way, which gives you even more opportunities in this case than Christmas, which comes around once a year. Twice a year, you're able to celebrate Eid. And we don't have to copy and emulate what the Christians do so we can have our own form of entertainment. We have our own form of entertainment to begin with. And that's why when we educate the ummah that we are leaders and not followers, then this will all make sense. As long as we feel inferior to others and we feel that we are subjugated to their preferences, then we will always feel that we are missing something. But we're not missing anything. I don't need, like right now, I'm at home, right? We don't have a Christmas tree, needless to say. I didn't even realize today was really, it hit me that it's the 25th of December. I knew that we were planning this in line with Christmas time. But as far as I'm concerned, I act like it doesn't exist. It could be because of my environment. I'm going to shift myself to the US, where I lived for many years. And every year I would be exposed to the Christmas and all the, maybe a month. In some countries, like the Philippines, I think a month or 2 months even before Christmas, khalas. In Lebanon, they go all out, and they go all out. And I was raised celebrating those events, ya Khidr. I was raised celebrating Christmas in the most official way, with a Christmas tree and a Santa Claus that would come to my house. But now that I'm a Muslim, it's like, yo, I'm not having that. And it just takes some dignity. All I'm saying is, as a Muslim, just find some dignity in your religion, not to be so weak. Don't allow yourself to be so weak and so easily seduced by those appearances. Have some dignity. Feel izzah, feel this honor that Islam gave you. Be happy that you're upon Tawheed. Be happy that you've been selected from among the billions of people in the world to be upon the religion that Allah legislated, following the last prophet, and that you actually have a ticket that will permit you to paradise. And hoping, inshallah, that you will do all it takes for that ticket to be valid on the day of payment, but you actually have a ticket. And those people don't even have a ticket. In fact, those people do have a ticket for another destination that they're working very hard for. They're striving to go to hell. They're using their hands or feet and digging the ground to go to hell. Subhanallah. And so you see those individuals in this complete state of loss, and you want to be with them and feel with them. And why? And you think this is being humanitarian? I'm being humanitarian. Being a loving mankind. And for people like Mufti Menk, real respect for others, real love for others is when you strive to bring them to Islam. Not by saying, I let them be, and I respect a human being, and I'm a human before I am a Muslim. And before, you hear different speakers, they play with words. It's terrifying. Wallah, it's terrifying that they confuse the people so much. If the true humanitarian Muslim is the one who thinks, ya akhi, if this person dies in the state, where is he going to go? And instead of me making some serious effort to bring him to Islam, here I am trying to find a fatwa that says, when he says Merry Christmas to me, I could say, oh, Merry Christmas to you too. And that's da'wah. Supposedly that you, because he told you Happy Eid on your Eid day, Your Eid, which was legislated by Allah, your Eid was legislated by the creator of the heavens and the earth. So if they said that to you, hey, alhamdulillah, because your Eid is legit. How are you going to reciprocate that good that they did to you by now you giving them a congratulation on a religion that Allah did not stipulate? In fact, a religion that insults Allah, a celebration that curses Allah, attributes children to Him, a child to Him. You think you're being kind and humanitarian and beloved, you're loving. Wallahi, ya akhi, this is a misunderstanding. And if this was the case, then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have been the first one to exercise this type of behavior. But we find him teaching us again and again, go against the Jews and the Christians. The Jews don't pray with their shoes on, pray with your shoes on. The Jews and the Christians, they let their beard grow and they trim they let their mustache grow. Let your beard grow, but trim your mustache. Dye your beard. And the list goes on. There's a huge list of commands and orders and directives from the Prophet ﷺ for you to have your own identity and to stand out. So find honor and dignity in that, and be strong on your own platform. Be strong on your own platform, and with love and care, invite them to Islam. Use that opportunity when they say Happy Christmas to you to educate them if given a chance, or just say thank you and keep moving. You cannot turn around and say Happy Holidays or something else, because you're fooling yourself and you're fooling them. Because when you say Happy Holidays, it's their holiday, Christmas, and you're saying Happy Holiday, you're basically saying, may you enjoy your celebration of disbelief. And people tell but the people who say this are shuyukh who, with all due respect, they don't know what they're saying. Yeah, Subhanallah al-Azim. They don't know what they're saying. Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah didn't know what he was saying. Ibn Qayyim didn't know what he was saying. And that's the problem. People do, they study, they do some research, they bring about information that otherwise you haven't heard, and automatically that makes it the prime and the golden advice, and dismisses all the scholarly work that is done by other scholars, because supposedly they didn't spend as much time digging into these matters from a historical point of view. But the truth of the matter is the scholars have done so. And what we share usually is a fatwa of the sheikh. We don't really break down the whole sheikh's research or even the senior ones. So this is the game that is being played, which is what I realized. For example, I would say Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen said it's haram to congratulate Christians on Christmas. Okay? So that's the fatwa of the sheikh. You put that and you share it on your Facebook. Someone will bring a video of Yasir Qadi where he spent 2 hours, with gymnastics, word gymnastics, and going up and down and telling you stories and playing around with every aspect of the religion. Wallah, playing around with every aspect of the religion, moving, shifting pieces around in a puzzle to come up with a picture. And then the people like, oh, I haven't seen anything like this before. This is such an academic discussion. May Allah bless the sheikh. The sheikh is so wonderful. I've never seen anyone discuss. This makes more sense. And so they will dismiss the fatwa of Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen, and they will say, Yasir Qadi is the sheikh of the West, ya akhi. And bam. But you see, that fatwa of Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen was not meant to be a research that he did for 2 hours to bring you his breakdown. If you were to study Islam on your own without waiting for Yasir Qadi to give you the gist of the matter, then you would have come to the same conclusion that Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah had come to when you study the fundamentals of the religion. But when you let someone do all the research for you and then inject into it their own ijtihad and their own opinion, and also dismiss the opinion of all the senior scholars that we know, and then just tell you, then they tell you, but there's some shuyukh in Azhar, or some shuyukh in Timbuktu, or some shuyukh in I don't know where, he quotes 3, 4, not even names, and that the opinion is out there, it's mainstream Islam, then the people become convinced and deceived by this kind of rhetoric. So according to Yasir Qadi, the new Yasir Qadi, he said it's a sunnah, that every time he says it's a sunnah, he corrects himself. You should celebrate your annual, what do you call it? Marriage. What is that called? Anniversary. Yeah, you should. He said it's a sunnah because, bring love between a hubby and wife. Because otherwise, y'all should be like at each other's necks with a knife, right? The husband and wife should be beef all day, they're about to kill each other. But then they remember on on anniversary, oh sweetheart, I love you. And then he gives her a cake and she gives him a monkey, and mashallah, tabarakallah, the relationship has been restored. Without that, no problem with that. Halloween also at some point, no problem. Thanksgiving also no problem. Christmas,
Birthdays.
obviously. The whole thing got the beads, يعني after the masbaha, خلاص, it was open and
Yeah.
everything is gonna fall out. Based on another principle that there's good bid'ah and bad bid'ah or bid'ah madri ish. So it's a gradual approach to deconstructing the fundamentals of the Islam, and to dismiss the opinions of the major scholars of the past and bring about a progressive contemporary understanding based on intellectual research. And therefore, because it's compatible with the already lost Muslims, everybody gives them a round of applause and they say, well, this opinion is exactly what I've been looking for, because I've been struggling in holding on to my religion. Now I don't have to hold on to my religion anymore. I can finally let loose and I could feel good about it, because Yasir Qadi was okay. I mean, Yasir Qadi, come on, he's a graduate from Medina University and he went to Yale. Khalas.
Yeah.
He basically takes all the load off his shoulders. So the brothers and the sisters in the West, they feel, okay, alhamdulillah, this brother, well, he's speaking better than you, and he's more qualified than you, and he has more followers than you, and he has more hair than you, and then, it's like silly stuff like this. And therefore, it's the way to go. And then we become like these crazy creeps who are living in a tent, in a tent out there in the desert, me and my goat and my I don't know what else, I have an eagle and a falcon all around me, and I'm just giving these fatwa out of my tent all the time. I'm what UK? What does UK stand for? Unknown knowledge. Yeah, Sheikh, wallah, the way it is made and the scholars are put down so badly, so negatively, they are made to seem so clueless. It's heartbreaking. But that's the
Mhm.
attack on Salafiyah in the name of academia and research and modernism. But when it comes to the Sufis and the Shia and all these other deviants, be very careful not to say something that will hurt their feelings or mock them, because we are anti-mocking. That's really what it is. So, man, people got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. And when you make the decision that is pleasing to Allah, then you have made the right decision. When you make a decision that is pleasing to the people, you're not going to get anywhere. You're gonna say happy Christmas back to them, and you've done a major sin, and you've displeased Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no doubt about that. And we will have to deal with the consequences. And guess what? They're not gonna come next week and say, by the way, I got news for you. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah. And you're gonna be like, oh, why? What happened? Because last week I said Merry Christmas, and you said Merry Christmas to you. I've decided to become a Muslim. Like, wow. Do you
It
think this
worked.
will ever happen?
No.
Will this ever happen? Will this ever be like a successful da'wah approach? No. So what did you get from saying Merry Christmas back to you, except being hypocritical, except just being like whatever? I have no principles. Yeah, anything you tell me. So someone says, may Allah curse your father. Ameen. Jazakallah khair, brother. What? What the hell is wrong with you, man? What, you just say anything to anyone, someone tells you something, may you have a terrible morning. Yes, you too. Uh, some words have meanings, and Merry Christmas has a meaning, and you saying Merry Christmas back to you, or Happy Holidays, or whatever best wishes, is actually you being in line with a great concept that Allah Azza wa Jal will punish people on Yawm al-Qiyamah for. You don't want to be punished with them. Prophet ﷺ said, "Man tashabbaha biqawmin fahuwa minhum." Whoever resembles a group of people, he has become one of them. Be careful, brothers and sisters in faith. May Allah bless you.
I think we're reaching an hour, so I'm just gonna have a rapid fire questions. What do you think?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
All right. So, a few questions that have been given to me with regards to Christmas and stuff like that and celebrations. All right. Rapid
Yeah.
fire. Watching Christmas theme stuff. Like, can I watch, let's say, a TV show that has Christmas theme, or can I watch stuff like that?
A TV show that has Christmas themes?
anything, yani, anything to do with Christmas can nothing,
Bro,
not
I
specifically
cannot
watching Christmas Eve.
I cannot give a fatwa, but what I will say is there are two types of things or two types of situations. One is avoidable, one that is not avoidable. So whatever can be avoided, then you should avoid. Because these things, look, again, you're a human being, you have weaknesses. So the more you get exposed to these things, the more you have that urge and that yearn to be involved, to belong, because you will feel left out. When everything right now, my children, my son was playing a video games earlier, and obviously the game had the Christmas theme. Everything is
Yeah,
Christmas related. Told them, try avoid playing this game right now. Avoid playing this game right now during this time, because naturally all of these things are going to creep into your mind, and you're going to feel that you are outside of this world. So if that's something you can control, then of course you should leave it alone. If it's something that is
yeah,
out there, you go out with your family, and then obviously it's all over the place. You're not going to tell your children, lower your gaze, or don't look at that house over there and whatever. Yeah, that's something that they naturally see. But you have to advise the children, and you have to remind them about why is this out there, for two reasons. Number one, it started with the idea that Allah took a son, and they're celebrating his day of birth. And secondly, now this is just a commercial business, that is trying to suck every penny out of you. And it's just a way how businesses operate, just like Valentine's, just like all these other events where, in Thanksgiving they need to sell turkey, so they have all this leftover turkey. Thanksgiving is a perfect time for that. A lot of these religious activities or festivities have become of economic consumer nature, uh, but that doesn't take away from the origin, and that doesn't take away from the fact that they're not from Allah. And if they're not from Allah, they're from shaitan. That's just a principle that we need to understand. If something is not legislated by Allah, it's from the shaitan. Do you want to be involved in something that Allah didn't legislate, that is of Eid nature? Because it could be, computers, whatever. We're not talking about that. But anything that happens on annual basis becomes a Eid. Eid from Aada Ya'udu, something that repeatedly comes around. And the Prophet ﷺ said that when he came to Medina, saw the people celebrating, he said, Allah has replaced. And the scholars say this replacement or substitution, meaning you have to remove one and place another one in. Allah has replaced you with 2 days, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha. So Prophet ﷺ dismissed whatever celebrations they were having, and he endorsed and he confirmed and reiterated the 2 Eids that we have. Therefore, rendering any other Eid that happens on regular basis to become of that kind of nature, even if it's not of religious nature. You understand? So that is a national day, anniversaries, whatever it may be. Something that happens on occasion, like based on occasion. For example, you graduate. You want to throw a party for your graduation. Do you graduate every year? You graduate once. There's no issue in that. There's no Eid involved in that. But that which happens on annual basis, it becomes a Eid according to the definition from the Sunnah, and therefore you cannot be involved in that. Now,
okay. Rapid question number two. So let's say with regards to Christmas time, let's say can a person buy Christmas products? Let's say he just feels like eating those candy canes. He wants to buy a tree with its bells and whistles, literally. Is this permissible?
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Allah says in the Quran, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ. And aid one another in righteousness and piety, and do not aid one another in sin and transgression, and fear Allah. So and the scholars have many fatwa on this. You buying those products that are of religious nature or that are related to this particular holiday is a form of collaboration, participation, and involvement in that. And so you want to have candy, mashallah, tabarakallah, you have all these other candies that you can have. Don't get stuck on the one that looks like a cane or the ones that are related to theirs. Of course, you cannot do that. And معليش يعني, as a Muslim, raise yourself above those little things. You're a grown man, or you're a grown woman, or even you're a teenager. With your izzah, with your honor of Islam, you could, don't let a piece of candy manipulate you and make you, compromise your belief in order to enjoy a piece of candy. I mean, what is that candy gonna do for you?
What if it's limited edition? For example, let's say you're in the States and it's Halloween's, okay? And it's like I gotta get my Starbucks. I want my pumpkin spice latte. Can I get my pumpkin spice latte on Halloween?
Bro, I'm not a mufti, but I'm gonna tell you, you better stay away from that pumpkin latte, man.
Just a health
I have
health
a problem with
perspective.
Starbucks to begin with. Actually, I'm personally right now no longer buying Starbucks because Starbucks is one of these really irritating coffee companies that must impose on you whatever holiday that is out there on your cup of
Yeah,
coffee. So even
yeah.
here, the cup of coffee now, the actual cup has like Christmas decoration. And so
Oh,
I went there and I was like, dude, I want to enjoy a cup of coffee.
yeah,
The fact that you're making me advertise and promote whatever religious holiday, even if it's Eid, even if it was Eid al-Islam, I don't want to carry a cup of coffee that says Eid Sa'id because I'm trying to drink coffee. I'm not trying to do an advertisement for you or promote any religious activity. So I'm not just being
yeah.
anti-Christian. Any type of religion you're trying to impose on a cup of coffee and make the people promote it for you is abhorrent. And so personally, I don't buy it from them anymore. One of the reasons is the fact that they're forcing us to promote a Christmas related cup, let alone something on Halloween with pumpkin. خلاص كده أنت مرة خربتها يا شيخ. Get a
Okay.
cappuccino from Dunkin' Donuts.
Can you participate in Christmas sales? Because you know the deals, the 12 deals and stuff like that. Yani,
The good news is yes, there are a number of fatawa that say that whatever sales, generic sales that happen, that the item itself is not of Christmas nature, but it's during a Christmas festivity. Imam Ahmad and others have given the fatwa that if they're celebrating and you go to the souk and there's some sort of discounts on whatever, go ahead. You can go ahead and buy, benefit from the discounts and the promotions that they have during their season, provided that that item in and of itself is halal.
so this goes for Black Friday, New Year's, summer, winter, whatever sales.
Naam, naam, naam. As long as that
Gotcha.
item itself is halal, alhamdulillah, they made a discount, go ahead, knock yourself out.
All right. So let's say somebody bought a really nice gift for me on a Christmas sale, and I was like, no, you know what, Khidr, this gift is for you. You know what? Maybe or maybe not. They might say Merry Christmas with it, but let's say they didn't. It's just like it's a gift, and you know you're thinking as a Muslim, nah, it's got to be a Christmas thing. You know, can I accept that gift?
Yeah, you can. Believe it or not, there's a fatwa, there's a long fatwa on Islam QA, which maybe we could link in the description. But you can, based on the actions of Ali radiallahu anhu when he was offered some sweets on Nairuz, and he inquired about the event, and they told him that it was Nairuz, he still accepted that and he took it. Also, Aisha radiallahu anha was asked something similar. She said, if it's dabiha, if they're giving you meat which is related, not halal, then don't. Otherwise, other than that, you can eat. So if you get a gift from a non-Muslim on their holiday, you may accept it, but there's some advice or some conditions that have to be added for you to be really to be decent. The conditions is first that, like I said, it shouldn't be something that is related to the actual festivities, meaning it's not like the candy for their Christmas or Halloween, or it cannot be an actual dabiha. Second of all, that it shouldn't make you resemble them. Let's say they bring you a sweater, a Christmas sweater, or an egg on Easter or something like that, then you can accept that. Thirdly, you should tell your children and advise them about wala and bara, so that they don't misunderstand what's going on and then they start thinking that it's all good. And fourthly, that you should have the intention to actually try to bring into Islam by accepting the gift. The Prophet ﷺ accepted gifts from others, from non-Muslims, and you should have that intention that, okay, I'm trying to be kind by accepting the gift since they made an effort to give it to you. And have that intention to give them da'wah. Don't just be like a recipient, like, oh, great, oh, yeah, you can give me as much as you want, and then khalli wali, let them go to hell afterwards. You know what I mean? And someone may say, as an objection, they say, Akhi, what are these double standards? So when it comes to accepting a gift, you're going to accept it in order to be kind to them. But when it comes to responding to Merry Christmas, all of a sudden you want to be stern. And the difference between the two is obvious, because here you're actually not making any action, you're just accepting something, versus the greeting is an action and a statement that you're uttering with your own mouth, and it's an endorsement of that. Whereas you receiving the gift is not an endorsement; it's you just being kind. If you think that's an issue, don't accept the gift either. If you want to be like on extreme, but again, we follow the way of the righteous predecessors. So even your logic and my logic is beautiful as long as it doesn't conflict with textual evidence. Once we have a textual evidence that allows one and doesn't allow the other, then we act accordingly.
So we can't return exchange gifts. I mean,
yeah, you cannot obviously exchange gifts. You can take a gift from them and you can give them a gift later. Obviously, it is kind and appropriate that when someone gifts you something that you also give them a gift, but don't give it to them on their holiday. Wait a week, wait a few days, on a separate occasion. Say thank you for the gift the other day. Here's a gift from me to you.
Yeah. So let's say, with regards to birthdays, kind of similar to these things which repeat every single day. Let's say a person says, you know what, my birthday is coming up, but let's say my birthday is in February. I'm going to celebrate it, or not, I'm going to celebrate in January. So it's not like a repeating thing. I'm going to do a month earlier. I'm going to go to a special restaurant. I'm going to buy myself a gift. And it's like a month later. Or let's say the next year he does it in March, stuff like this. Is this permissible?
MashaAllah, that's a bid'ah within a bid'ah. That's wow. This guy is going out of his way to celebrate his birthday. But that's just, I'm sorry, that's just dumb, because it's supposed to be a birthday, not like a month before a birthday or a month after a birthday. and then why? If this brother or this sister, whoever they are, if they wanted to have a good meal, Yahi, go have a good meal. Why do you have to say, my birthday is in February 3rd. Today is January 3rd. I'm going to celebrate my birthday 1 month early and go have a nice meal. Just go have a nice meal.
The mental gymnastics.
I hope this is not your own idea.
No.
Trying to attribute it to someone else, because that's the silliest thing I've ever heard.
I've heard it before. Like, really? They want to buy it, like they want to justify, like, I want to buy an expensive watch, or I want to buy a shoe. Like,
just buy it.
My birthday is next month, so can I just spin it off as a birthday gift? Whatever.
Yeah, I understand, but look, the matter of birthday is very simple. First of all, no life is worthier of a celebration for being born than the life of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He never did it. The Sahaba didn't do it for him. His wives didn't do it for him. No one did it until 400 years afterwards. The Fatimites came up with the idea of celebrating the birth of Prophet ﷺ, which they cannot even confirm from a textual evidence point of view. So anybody else for this matter is of less importance. The idea of celebrating a birthday is a pretty conceited, silly thing. You want to treat yourself, treat yourself any day of the week. If you have the money, you can afford it, knock yourself out. If it's not extravagance, knock yourself out. You don't have to wait for a day on which you were born to make it such a special event. Specifically when the origins of birthdays and the candles and the cake and all that are of pagan roots. Whether you like it or not, it's again something that is of pagan nature, blowing the candle, wishing upon a star, Come on now, then you say, okay, I'm going to have a birthday, but without a cake and without madri ish, and then why are you calling it a birthday, and why are you even making a fuss out of the day you're born? Why are you insisting on doing something? You were born on that day, with all due respect. So what? Everybody was born on a different day. Everybody was born on a day, and it's nothing that is worthy of celebration. If anything, you should be concerned that you've grown a year older and that you're approaching your life to come. You're like a year closer to meeting Allah. Really, that's what it is. And there's nothing celebratory about that to begin with. And so that's just people being realistic. Then the second issue we have is that, your date of birth and your age is based on the lunar calendar, not the Gregorian calendar, which is what a lot of Muslims miss out on altogether. They focus on the Gregorian calendar, February 1st, January 1st, whatever. Your age is actually when you were born in the Hijri calendar. And so if you ever wanted to celebrate birthday, hypothetically, then it should be on the 2nd of Rabi' al-Awwal or something like that. It shouldn't even be in January, February, whatever. But people don't pay attention to that. They don't pay attention to these details, which is fine. But yeah, just birthday, let it go, man. Let it go. You're important. We love you. And we don't need to, remember that you were born on that day to show that love. life goes on. You get used to it. It's everything is by customary behavior. You get used to it, and then it becomes a non-issue. My birthday used to be the biggest issue when I was a kid. My mother, may Allah bless her and forgive us and forgive her, she would bring an orchestra and a music band, wallah, and cameramen, 3 4 cameramen, and special clothes, and with the whole neighborhood, the whole dunya, and food and cake or toys. But they would leave with a mountain of toys, and I would be,
Yeah.
hey, I would wait for my birthday all year. You grow up, you practice Islam. Now my date of birth comes and it goes, and hey,
Mm.
no one cares. I don't care. I don't want anyone else to care. And as long as you train yourself like this, wallahi, you'll be just fine. You won't sit there and feel, oh, my birthday, no one wished me a happy birthday. Grow up, man. Stop it already. Go play basketball. Go skateboard. Go do something fun that you can do every day. And khalas, your brain will be trained to, move on.
Stop. Get some help. So,
Get some help. There you go.
all right. So let's say another thing about birthdays. You sign up for a newsletter and they give you a special discount on this on your birthday. Can you use it?
From what I know, yes.
Mhm.
I've asked the student of knowledge and he said yes. If you don't ask for it, if it comes to you, you don't ask for it. If it comes to you, then you could benefit from it, as long as you're not asking. If you go seek it and fetch it, then you have a problem.
Yeah. Okay. Another question on birthdays. Like you said, mashallah, it makes sense, but not many Muslims understand this, especially if they were growing up in Western culture, So what has happened, I've seen in the past, they would say, you know what, let's just gather all the people who are born on February, for example, and let's gather on this one day, and let's, make sure that because everyone's busy, everyone has family, let's just gather on this one specific day in some family's house, and let's just, get it over with for that whole month. Can we attend? It doesn't even fall on that birthday, مثلا.
Wallah, I don't know
Family,
what to tell
family.
you. Khadr, you and these funky questions, man. I swear you
It
need
happens,
help.
man. I'm telling you. Bid'ah, when it comes to Malaysian, yeah, it doesn't stop at the deen. Yani.
I
We're
don't know.
we're all the way bid'ah, all the way. Comes to food, comes to everything.
I
Allah
don't
Ustaz.
know. I don't know. Allahu alam.
Yeah,
Sounds dubious and fishy, but I don't know.
yeah. Alhamdulillah. Khair, inshallah ta'ala. So another question is with regards to New Year's. New Year's is coming up. Can I gather with my friends and family, watch the fireworks, countdown, stuff like that?
لا طبعا. لا, if you watch if the fireworks are right there in front of you, yes, but for you to make it a point to go and attend again, لا يشهدون الزور. They don't witness false events, falsehood. They don't witness falsehood. The scholars understand this ayah to refer to these events. So no, you cannot go and have a countdown. Countdown for what? That this year ended and that year started, and so what? What does that mean? Like right now, until now, people say 2020 has been a terrible year. Akhi, 2020 is from the dahr, and Allah Azza wa Jal is a dahr. And so you cannot attribute this evil to the creation of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah is the one who manages time and who created time. And you're sitting there, insulting Allah by, assuming that this year is good and this year is bad. And when you follow that trend of becoming obsessed with year 2020, 2021, 2022, so on and so forth, you start also following the line of thinking of the disbelievers, where they're, to them, Allah is just like this nothing. And everything is about, karma, and everything is about time, and everything is about luck. And you completely abandon your tawheed, and you become on some really shirky mentality in all respects. And so people now think 2020 is a bad year per se. You cannot even say that, because what is 2020? Nothing. There's no such thing as 2020 in that sense. It's just a means for you to know what's going on. But to celebrate the leaving of a year, entering of a year, for what occasion? Celebration. The celebration is what? It's Eid. And Eid is Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. It's Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha. Enough said. Enjoy those 2 Eids and knock yourself out, and khalas.
Right. Another question.
Where are you getting these questions from?
It's just something I compiled.
Mm.
So this is the theme of it. A person may be listening to this and he might be thinking, man, so is Islam never going to assimilate with Western culture? Because it's practically impossible to, because everything is ours and everything is theirs. Is Islam never going to assimilate?
No, no. ولن ترضى عنك اليهود ولا النصارى حتى تتبع ملتهم. Never ever will the Jews and the Christians be pleased with you until you follow their way of life, until you follow them completely. So it is not Islam's job to be modified and tailored to fit into the West. In fact, if any lecture should be given, and if any talk, and I think Sheikh Abdul Rahman Hassan has a long talk about this, this is the dangers of living in the West. For those who have no choice, may Allah make it easy for you. For those who have a choice, that's what you need to be mindful of. You're throwing yourself in this environment, and then you want to get solutions with simplicity. It's not going to happen. When you are living in the West, you're overwhelmed by the evil that is and the corruption that surrounds you from every angle, from every corner, from every aspect. It becomes very challenging to be able to maintain and think that you're going to adhere to your Islam fully and be in line with the people out there. It's very difficult. And Allah's religion is not expected to modify itself to fit into the world. The world is expected to modify itself to fit into Islam, because when it's all said and done, and when the trumpet is blown, and when people are resurrected, none of this is going to matter. What's going to matter is either you were a Muslim, or you were a hypocrite who pretended to be a Muslim, or you were a kafir. That's it. And because human beings are so heedless and so oblivious and so neglectful to these realities, we have all these debates and discussions. If you didn't, and if you thought about Yawm al-Qiyamah, you really wouldn't care much. And you wouldn't be one of the people that would say, oh, how is Islam going to fit into the world? You would be saying, how can I stick to the Islam that will make me successful on the day of judgment? Where is that Islam that is so pure, in its purest form, in the most orthodox form, in the most authentic form? Where is it? I'm going to grab on it with my full strength and power. I'm going to, as the Prophet ﷺ said, bite on it with my molar teeth, so that I can be saved on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Where's that Islam? And who's preaching it? Who's calling to it? Who's telling it to me as it is, how it is? Where are those people? I want to cling to them. That's what you will be thinking. But when your mind is not there, you'll be thinking about modernism and modernizing Islam, and the hudud have to be reconsidered. The application of this has to be reconsidered. Everything now becomes subject to change, subject to discussion, subject to research, subject to alteration, because we're trying to fit into the world. But if you thought about Yawm al-Qiyamah, you will be thinking completely different. You're muted.
Sorry. Yes. Just the last question that I have here with regards to, because you mentioned a few personalities. Like, let's say a brother, before he used to do proper stuff, like he did maybe Aqidah series, maybe he did like Sirah series. Can I listen to the stuff before he, changed to a different
if you're a student of knowledge, if you're someone that knows the foundations of Islam and you want to listen to the old material for a particular benefit that you want to get, that's fine. But if you're not, then absolutely no. Because obviously when you listen to someone, you're going to be swayed by their statements. You're going to be impacted. You're going to be appreciative to what they say. And you will find yourself, whether you realize it or not, also accepting their modern opinion, because you appreciate so much their previous understanding that you say, how can this guy possibly go astray? How can he possibly have changed? Maybe I'm the one who's just being, too difficult and too rough and too, unflexible. And so you start doubting yourself because you're awed by his knowledge and by his background and credentials. And then you might find yourself also upholding his new opinions. So it's a very delicate thing, man. And you don't want to go there. You don't want to listen to a person who's falling into innovation or deviance or modernizing Islam. You want to be careful and protect yourself, man.
So with regards to like a student of knowledge, you mentioned student of knowledge. At what point can he decide, you know what, I'm a student of knowledge, I can read books of the, let's say, innovators, or I can read books of other sects so that I can understand their misguidance? When does he come to this conclusion?
His sheikh should tell him. His sheikh should tell him when he's at that point. But I just want to say that Sheikh Abdurrahman Hassan, just speak for all these people that are obsessed again with Yasir Qadi and his likes. Sheikh Abdurrahman Hassan, Hafidahullah, and may Allah bless him, the quality of his work, is far superior to anything out there. It is far superior to anything out there. And it is pure, inshallah, as far as we know. So cut through the chase, yani. The person does not feel the need, should not feel the need that he must listen to this fulan or that fulan who have basically converted or changed from one methodology to another. You have substitutes, you have alternatives that are far better. And the work that Sheikh Abdurrahman is putting from Madrasa al-Umariyah, as the brothers are actually commenting, each talk is like 3 hours, 4 hours. Man, there's plenty of ilm for you there. And people just need to spend time and learn. They just need to spend time and learn and stop being funny. At least you will get pure Islam without all the sugarcoating, and that's really what it needs. That's what the ummah needs. If we were all to adhere to that, it will be so much peace in the world. But Allah understand.
The opposite spectrum, I've heard people say, you shouldn't listen to all this English du'at. You should just go straight to the scholars, everything. And they will just say, la, just listen straight to the scholars, skip all this, these students. Is there any basis to that?
If somebody knows Arabic, akhi, and they can go straight to the scholars and understand from the senior scholars, but knock yourself out. Why would you listen to someone speak in English? Of course, because English requires that you have to translate the concepts and the words and the terminology. It's a hassle. So if you're an Arab and you can take straight from the scholars in Arabic, or you've learned Arabic, you could take straight from the scholars. Yes, skip all of us. Sheikh Abdurrahman and me and everybody. Skip everybody, go straight over there. If you can't, then you need individuals like this to communicate the message to you.
All right, I think we're done.
We should be done
with the questions. Ibrahim is crying. Anyway, ala kulli hal, jazakallah khair, Abu Mussab. Should we take questions or no Q&A?
Wallah, bro, I think it will take a long time to take questions. I think most of the people are discussing anyway something else on the chat, and so inshallah, we'll just conclude with this. Inshallah, we're good.
Khair. So one of the things I take away from this is I can't dress up Ibrahim for Christmas. I'm just kidding.
Of course you can.
I just like to mention this
for Ibrahim. Imagine how that would be dhulman.
His name and his dressed up for Christmas. It's just so silly.
Which reminds me, again, you see the challenge that we have is somebody sent me a screenshot. I actually saw it on Instagram. Muhammad Salah, the Liverpool football player. May Allah forgive him and forgive us. He won the extra 17,000 miles, not extra mile. Extra 17,000 miles. He has a picture of him wearing complete Christmas outfit with his daughter and his wife and some other kid and a Christmas tree. And there's like 5,000 comments on the post about this, and people saying, "See, this is an example of the moderate Muslim who's open-minded and he's not backwards like you people, And how do you think he always makes sujood after every goal he scores? He makes sujood." Look, be careful of, I like Muhammad Salah as a football player. Don't get me wrong, and I appreciate the fact that he holds on to some Islamic identity. But then again, he's not a sheikh. He's not talib ilm. He's a football player. So you have to have the right expectations. And so whenever you want to follow someone, don't use him as a hujjah, as an excuse, or as a proof that, look, see, this is permissible because he's doing it. Man, the guy just scores free kicks and he shoots with his left foot. He does not.
Pretty hard though. Come
Huh?
on, it's pretty hard though. It's
Yeah,
pretty
no
tough
doubt,
though.
no doubt. I can do better sometimes, but that's besides the point. The idea is that we don't take these, with all due respect to him, we hope and pray that he will, يعني, when Allah puts you in a position of leadership and you have so many followers, everything you do becomes, a big deal. He probably doesn't know any better, man. But he lives in the UK. That's what's up, and that's why how you try to fit into the society. But be careful. Be careful of being swayed and influenced by celebrities and individuals that make everything halal for you. But they will not defend you on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Allah on Yawm al-Qiyamah, they will run away from you and they will say, "Nafsi, nafsi, myself, myself," and everybody will be on their own.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Abu Mus'ab.
وإياكم.
Thank you for this session. Barakallah feek. May Allah bless you always. May Allah grant you good.
آمين.
May
وإياكم.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow for these talks to happen more often. Inshallah. So with this, I think we can conclude. I thank you guys for watching this live stream and this podcast for the future listeners. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you want to end, final words, go ahead.
Nope, that's it. جزاكم الله خير for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.